Have you been writing or working on a story that you don't feel fits the typical structure? And you're starting to get concerned because it feels like you've departed from everything that you've learned about story arc and structure, beginning, middle, and end. I have really good news for you. There are a lot of different story types. And in today's video, I want to cover all the different story types to open up the possibilities for you, but also to help you to see where your writing style fits. So if you're curious about what kind of story options there are for you out there, or perhaps you've been doing my free writing picture books class right here on YouTube, where I'm teaching you all about the typical story arc, beginning, middle, and end, how to resolve conflict, and how to develop a good conflict. And you're thinking, wait a second, my story doesn't really fit that format. I'm here today to tell you that's okay. There's a lot of different story formats, a lot of options for you, and I want to share in this video what the possibilities are. And in fact, my own style as a writer and an illustrator don't fit the typical mold either. I've really discovered along the way that I am a completely different kind of storyteller, and by the end of this video, I'm going to share with you what that is. And it's not exactly what I teach in class. Anyway, let's get on with finding out what are all the story types and formats. First, I'm going to give you an overview of the story types, and then I'm going to break them down into specifics. Narrative picture books. Story-driven with character arcs or plot structures. That's exactly what I teach in writing picture books class. And now we need to find out what else is there. Well, there's also concept picture books, idea or learning driven, often non-narrative, nonfiction picture books, factual or educational content, sometimes narrative, poetic, lyrical picture books, focused on rhythm, mood, and language. Interactive, unique format picture books. Engage readers through format or design beyond standard storytelling. Other creative approaches. Hybrids, experimental formats, and out-of-the-box styles. Okay, now that you've seen the big picture in the main categories, I'm going to break it down for you. Let's walk through each of these story types in detail with simple examples so that you can see what makes them work. This will help you identify what kind of story you might want to write, or even help you figure out what type your current story already is, especially if it doesn't fit the traditional mold. But before we dive in, I want to remind you that if you do love to write a narrative picture book with a clear beginning, middle, and end story arc, I have a picture book template story builder. You can find the links below. It's a fill-in-the-blank tool designed to walk you through every part of brainstorming and building your story, from characters and setting to plot and structure, right up to that final first draft. You'll find the link in the description box below. It's a really helpful tool. Check it out. As we already know, my writing picture books class here on the YouTube channel goes in depth on the classic story arc character journey. So hop over to that playlist if you're wanting to learn in depth about that particular format. So I'm going to take you right to number 2 today on the circular story. A circular story ends where it began, looping back around to the beginning with a small twist or a surprise in the repeat cycle. A fictional example of this would be if you let a llama paint. A girl gives a llama a paintbrush that leads to the llama wanting a canvas, then an easel, then snacks, then a nap, then a paintbrush again. This could be humorous, creative, and fun, where somehow the journey just takes you in one big, interesting circle. It's entertaining, and sometimes there's a little lesson hidden inside of that circle repeat. The cumulative story. Each part of the story adds a new element while repeating the previous one, building rhythm and anticipation. So let's look at a fictional example of this. The giggle that grew. A tiny giggle from a baby bounces to the cat, then to the dog, then to the mailman, then to the whole entire neighborhood, each page adding a new character and a chain of giggles and laughter. This is just a way to build upon each page something unique and interesting that grows into a much bigger picture as the story unfolds. This is cumulative because the structure stacks like a song or a chant, just growing and growing. Then we have parallel storylines and split perspective. Two stories or viewpoints unfold side by side, often intersecting or comparing experiences. Let's look at a fictional example of the kite and the bird. A kite tells its story of soaring high and dipping low through the sky. On alternating pages, a bird tells its version of the same flight from its perspective. In the end, they meet in the sky. So this is a parallel story because the two characters share overlapping experiences shown from different points of view. Now, what's reverse chronology? The story begins in the present and moves backwards in time, uncovering how something came to be. Let's look at a fictional example, The Day Before Today. The story starts with a birthday party. Each page goes back one day in time, showing the preparations, the baking, the invitation, and finally, the moment the idea for the party was born. So those are the subcategories in that main category we called narrative picture books. Those subcategories are different, if you think about it, different writing styles that your narrative could take you as you write. But I have news. My personal writing style doesn't really fit into any of those narrative subcategories. I've discovered about myself that I have a completely different style in my picture book creation. Let's talk about concept books. What are concept books? Concept books focus on ideas instead of character-driven stories. They teach something simple like letters, numbers, or emotions, often through repetition, rhythm, and engaging visuals. These books don't need a plot. Instead, they explore a theme or concept page by page. I love to create concept books. In fact, my last publication, A Busy Day in ABC Woods, is exactly that. It's full of rhythm, quick pace, and learning the ABCs as you journey through the woods with adorable critters. But not only do I love to create concept books, but I also lean into the next two, nonfiction picture books and poetic lyrical picture books. Nonfiction picture books are factual or educational content, sometimes narrative. Poetic lyrical picture books focus on rhythm, mood, and language. Did you ever read your children, grandchildren, or loved ones in your life the book called Goodnight Moon? That was a classic for my kids growing up. I would read them Goodnight Moon. I believe that Goodnight Moon leans into very poetic and lyrical type of writing. It's not really a story like a narrative that has an arc, and yet it's not circular. It doesn't fit into any narrative category, but it has this beautiful tone of lyrical quality. It has a concept, but yet it's not educational, and so it leans into poetry for me. That's how I see that book. And that is often how my own writings come to be. So as you can see, there are so many possibilities when it comes to picture book structure. Whether your story is narrative with that classic arc, whether it goes in a loop, goes backwards, simply explores a fun concept, or is a poem and has lyrical quality. No matter whether you follow one of the categories I mentioned, one of the subcategories, or a mashup of all of them, the possibilities for you are limitless. I'm giving you permission today to explore. What matters most is that you fine-tune your craft so that you can bring the picture book out of you and into the world that you're really meant to create in your lifetime. And I'm here cheering you on. If you're looking for tools or resources to help you along the way, be sure to check my links below. I have writing resources as well as a really great pagination planner that will help you organize your picture book in one simple sheet. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you never miss a video. In the comments below, I want to hear what kind of story type interests you the most. What do you gravitate to? What do you want to explore? Comment below. Until next time, picture book creators, happy writing.